안녕하세요. 남가주 다음세대 지키기 Protect Next Generation을 섬기고 있는 이진아 전도사입니다. 11월 중간선거를 앞두고 6월 7일 예비선거가 열리게 됩니다. 우리가 살고 있는 너무나 혼란한 시대에 선과 악을 구별하며 법을 다루는 법정에 우리의 가치관과 같은 생각을 가진 분들이 더 많아져야 하는 것을 더욱 절실히 느끼는 시대입니다. 오늘 굉장히 귀한 분을 만나게 되어서 인터뷰를 하게 되었는데요. 커미셔너 조 데인 판무관으로 계시며 이번에 오렌지 카운티 대법원 판사로 출마하시게 되었습니다. 한번 만나보시죠. Hi, nice meeting with you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
Thank you so much having this interview with me.
I appreciate you having me out. It's just nice to tell people about the upcoming election for judge.
We want to know about you, so what is your current job?
Right now, I'm a Superior Court Commissioner, so I essentially do the same job as a judge. I sit in the criminal division in Santa Ana in our main courthouse. So I preside over a courtroom in the criminal department, doing everything from first appearance in court all the way through jury trials and everything in between.
So what does a court commissioner do?
You know, a lot of people refer to me as judge, and essentially we do the same work as a judge. There's just very subtle differences between what we can and can't do. But I can preside over everything from trials, preliminary hearings in every case, from traffic tickets all the way through murder cases. So I hear the same court cases as a judge does. It's just a difference in how we get hired, how we get selected, and where we get assigned. So it's a different process to become a commissioner, but essentially we do the same type of work.
So how are they selected?
To be a judge, you can be a judge one of two ways. You can either be elected in an election like coming up in June, or you can be appointed by the governor to an open seat. Or to be a commissioner, it's a little bit different. We actually apply to the judges in the county, and it's all the judges that do their background checks, and they look into our demeanor, our experience, and they make that selection on who they should offer the job to. So in a way, it's almost more difficult and much more background check to become a commissioner than a judge, because it's all the judges in Orange County that meet, go through the background and decide who should be a commissioner to become one of them. And it's only if all the judges vote to make you a commissioner, then they offer you the job. So I've been honored to have that position since 2018, so almost 4 years now.
Oh, wow. So you are running for seat 9. So does that cover a particular area of the county?
It doesn't. All judge elections in the county are open for all members of the county to vote. So everyone can vote on all 9 open seats that are there. The number for seat 9 is just a number that is given to it by the registrar of voters that just designates which seat it is. A judge's term is 6 years. So every 2 years, 1/3 of our bench is up for election. So this time around, there were 50 judges that were up for re-election, and 8 of those judges chose not to file for their own seat, and they retired, so it made their seats open. My seat that I'm running for just happens to be seat number 9. The judge that retired from that seat endorsed me to run for his seat, and he is vouching for me, saying that he would like me to get his seat. So that's just a seat number, but every judicial election is open for every member in the county to vote for. So all citizens in Orange County are going to vote for all 9 seats that are up for election.
I want to know your background and also how did you get started on the law?
I actually started off very different. I was an x-ray tech. I was a biology major at UC Irvine, and I thought about going to medical school, but I took a little time off from school and decided, let's see what I really want to do, kind of where I'm being led. And I tried something completely different, and I joined the sheriff's department in Los Angeles County. I was a reserve deputy sheriff there after going through the academy. So we go through an academy, we get the same responsibility, the same risk, the same uniform, badge, gun, and I worked on patrol as a deputy sheriff in Los Angeles County. The difference between a reserve and a full-time officer is a reserve officer at that time got paid $1 a year. So it was essentially being a volunteer police officer, and I did about 100 hours a month doing that, and I loved it. I actually thought about being a police officer full-time, but when I went to court, some of the prosecutors in court said, "We recognize your name, you write a good report, you should go to law school. So about a week later, I found a place that had an opening. So I took the law school admission test and did well enough to get a scholarship off my first year of law school. And I went to Western State University in Fullerton here in Orange County. I still worked full-time at night while going to school full-time during the day. And I was proud to say that I graduated law school without any student loans or any student debt, still working at night all the way through school.
Wow, that's good. Very hard worker and hard studying.
A lot of little naps here and there, but I made it through.
Wow. Do you do any teaching?
I do. I've taught for years. Back when I was a prosecutor in the DA's office, that's how I started my career. After graduating law school, I started off in the DA's office. I was a law clerk in Orange County, but in 1995, Orange County went bankrupt, so I had to go elsewhere. I worked up in the Central Valley in Tulare County in the DA's office there as a prosecutor. I worked there for 6 years, and during that time, I prosecuted everything from a few misdemeanors, sexual assault crimes, rape and child molest cases, and murder cases, gang cases. And during that time, I taught at the police academy in Tulare County. In 2002, I moved back down to Orange County and was a prosecutor again for another 6 years. During that time, same thing, prosecuted more sex crimes, general felonies, and major narcotics with meth labs and cartels. During that time, I taught at the police academy again. Fullerton College has a police academy there, and my wife and I both taught at Fullerton College. I taught at their academy for over 10 years, and sometimes we did 2 academy classes a year, so hundreds of cadets that went through the academy. Since the academy shut down, I also teach criminal law at Fullerton College. So I teach criminal law, criminal procedure, and evidence. I've taught other prosecutors on jury trials. I've taught them on jury selection. I've taught prosecutors about prosecuting sex crimes. I teach. It's kind of natural. I like people to be well informed about the law, so teaching to me just kind of comes second nature.
Could you tell us about community involvement?
I've always believed in giving back as much as I get from anything, and that starts from back in college. I wanted to learn sign language. I thought it was a beautiful language, so I taught myself from a book, and in order to kind of practice that, but also give back to the community, I volunteered at an elementary school in Long Beach with deaf children. So I worked as a teacher's aide, as a volunteer. They were probably on my sign language level, first and second graders, but I learned a lot, great kids, and I got to give back a little bit while learning something as well. So I like to give back as much as I get. Same thing being a reserve. As a deputy sheriff, it was $1 a year, so it's basically volunteer. But I gave back to the community by keeping it safe, by working on patrol. And I gained so much knowledge about the law, and it led me down this path of where I wanted to be and where I am now. Now, as a court commissioner, I'm very involved with our court locally. I'm involved in committees that help to shape the court. I do a lot of community outreach for our courts, where I actually go out to elementary and high schools and talk to them about the roles of the court, the Constitution, and their rights that they have and how the whole system works. It's just fun to talk to the kids and open their eyes about the whole process. I still greet the jurors that come in for jury service, the people that get that postcard in the mail to come serve on juries. I volunteer with a few other judges to go down and greet them, at least to welcome them to jury service. I just like to be involved, and that's at work. Outside of work, my wife and I are very involved with our kids in 4-H. We're both project leaders and leaders within 4-H. I actually went again back for training on my own time to be certified as an archery instructor, so I could lead an archery project and have the kids to our house and shoot bows and arrows as part of that, just as a way to open our home and open our property to the kids. So it's always part of that. I like being involved in our community, and I truly think that I should give back just as much as I'm getting from any situation. It shouldn't work any other way.
Wow, that's amazing. Why did you decide to run for judge?
You know, a lot of people ask me that. I'm basically doing the same work as a judge, so why go through an election process and all the ups and downs with that? Why do I want to be a judge? There's so much more that I think that I can do for our courts and our community as a judge. I'm involved in committees now, and there's more that as a judge I can do for our community. the judiciary, the judicial branch of government, is independent. It's that third branch of government, and we have a very important role in deciding cases and shaping the way the law should be. So as a commissioner, there's certainly a lot that I can do, that I am doing, but if I were to become a judge, yes, I would hear more serious cases, but I can also be involved in more things. There are committees, both at the local and state level, that I can be involved in that can help to shape that branch of the government and keep the power in the courts to do the right thing on the right cases to protect our communities, to keep them strong, to keep the courts open, and to be there as a resource. I can still give back more. Again, same thing. If I get this position, which I hope to, I want to give back just as much and use that position for more good. So that's why I decided to go through this. I love my job now. I absolutely love being in court and being on the bench. I would absolutely love to be a judge and just get that next level so I can continue to give back just this career of service that I've always done.
Okay. Why should people vote for you?
I hope that everyone votes. Voting is so essential. It's kind of sad as to how many people just don't vote at all. I talked to my neighbor 2 doors down. He's about 86 years old. He says he's voted every single election since he was 18, and he's never voted for a single judge because he doesn't know who these people are. So I was so grateful that we got put together and we met each other to be able to at least tell people about judicial elections and about who I am as a person and what I can do and why I want this job. If I would say, why do I deserve your vote? It's who I am as a person, my core values, my solid work ethic, and the fact that I give back. I've got the experience. I really have seen the law from all sides, both as a police officer, a deputy sheriff in LA County, as a prosecutor in private practice, as a temporary judge, as a commissioner. I have done all of these things, both as a career and also volunteering and giving back every step of the way. I have got the experience that I think cannot be matched by any other candidate. I'm running against one other opponent, and I will be happy to match up my qualifications and experience and show to the voters that I am the right person for the job. So that's why I'm running for seat number 9 in the upcoming election.
You know, when we had talked before this, you told us about your homeschooling experience for your wife and for your beautiful 2 daughters.
Thank you.
Your wife is awesome.
She is.
Very faithful Christian. Could you tell us about that homeschooling experience?
We were blessed to have our daughters. We had a difficult time having kids, and when our oldest came along, we had a plan that my wife was going to stay home for a little while and use up as much maternity leave as she could, and then go back to work at least part-time. And after seeing our daughter, it was that fateful 7-word question: if you could stay home, would you? And the answer was yes. So we figured out from there how we could still make it happen, and she could stay home with our children. Our second daughter was born a couple years later, and we were just blessed to have her as well. Our kids are amazing. I wish everyone could get to meet them as well. Our kids are amazing, and we decided to homeschool, to give them the opportunities not only to shape their education that we see fit as parents, but to then pick and choose what they're exposed to, what is good for them, what classes they can take, and really help them grow to be just amazing young people that they are. We've had that amazing opportunity. My wife has led the crusade for that, to homeschool them. She, on top of the teaching that she does as well, she takes care of the homeschooling with the kids. I do a little bit of dad's wisdom and dad's teaching as well, but it's definitely my wife that does all the hard work with them. But it's just been so amazing to have them at home, just learning our family values, learning what is right, while still gaining that education to move on in life.
Thank you so much for this interview, for your time. 오늘 너무너무 귀한 분을 오늘 모셨는데요. 참 너무 많은 악법이 통과하는 이 시대에 크리스찬의 가치관으로 판단하는 이런 분이 꼭 필요하지 않을까요? 선을 선으로, 악을 악으로 볼 수 있는 신실한 우리 조 데인을 오렌지 카운티의 우리 법원의 판사로 꼭 투표하시도록 주위에 널리 알려주시면 감사하겠습니다. 6월 7일, June 7th, 모든 한인분들은 투표에 참여해 주시고요. 우편 투표보다는 직접 가셔서 투표를 해주시기를 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you very much.